What's going on, guys? Lucky Brand here. Just going to do a round 16 preview for the AFL Fantasy. Interesting night at selection last night. A few of my rookies were dropped, so Bewley for Freo got dropped, and Naish didn't get a call up. Oscar Baker got dropped as well, so that hurts a little bit. No, it depends on which way I go, really. So I've got a couple of options for my trades this week. At this stage, without hearing how Max Gawn's fitness test went today, my idea at the moment is to downgrade Max Gawn to Marshall from St Kilda. Like his draw, he's got North Melbourne on the weekend. I think he can hurt Goldstein going forward, so quite content with that call. I was thinking about going Wits, but Marshall leaves me open to a few more options to get Gawn back in a few weeks, because obviously once he gets over his ankle, then he comes back to a pretty good run. So my plan at this stage is to bring Marshall in this week, and then next week almost do a double downgrade, I think. Get a bit of a worn chest going, and then put it on someone like Warple to get back up to Max Gawn, and then play Marshall forward. How that works with the rest of the team, so Gawn goes down to Marshall, gives me about 230 odd K or something like that. So I've put that on Dersma to go to Hearn, and not so much for this week, but for his draw afterwards. He's got a pretty cruisy draw going into September, so there's more of a long-term bet on Hearn. I was thinking the Blakeleys and the Hamish Hartlets, but I think Hearn as like a sure thing for the rest of the year is probably a better option. So yes, Gawn to Marshall, Dersma to Hearn. It leaves me with a lot of cash cows on the bench. So I've got Oscar Baker on the bench that could always come back through, Bewley on the bench, Naish from Richmond on the bench, and obviously Robbie Young. Second options for me, and it's going to depend on a lot of what comes out of Melbourne after his fitness test today, Gawn's fitness test today. If that comes back all clear, I'm always quite nervy about ankles, because I did a lot of ankles when I played footy as well, and they're not quick healers, so I'm pretty set in the Marshall and Hearn trades. But if something comes out of Melbourne today that makes me go, oh, okay, I won't do that, I think my plan is to go Bewley down to, there's a 178k forward from Hawthorn, or if Hugh Goddard gets named by Carlton, I might look at doing either one of those. So Bewley down to Goddard would leave Stack in the midfield as my rookie, which is ideal. Yeah, if Goddard comes in, I'll probably opt to do that and then play Logue as my rookie in defence, with Dersma, obviously. So those are the two options for me this week. It leaves me in a spot next week where I'm kind of fingers crossed for no injuries, as we all are at this time of year. And with no injuries, I'll definitely double downgrade. So that'll probably be the Bewleys down to 170k mid, and then probably Naish down to 170k mid as well. That's just kind of where I'm at with my team at the moment, and then obviously the next week look to bring Gawn in, but it's a long way down the track. So that's kind of where I'm at. Aiming for a good week this week. I'd be stoked if I could get to the 2400s. As I said in the previous video, 24-25 was my highest score of all time, and that was last year. I really want to break that by the time we finish this year, and sort of push into the top 1000 That's kind of my goal towards the end of the year. So yeah, in those defensive options as well, Crisp, I think he'll go big tonight. So he was a bit of an option as well. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Crisp has had what is he? Is a 90 average, lowest score of 48, but I think that was only one that he went under 70. And then yeah, his ceiling is much bigger than say the Hearns, the Tom Stewarts, or those type of things. So he's a really good option. If you don't have Dusty this week, I reckon this week's the time to bring him in. I've just got a feeling he's going to go massive against the Suns on Saturday. So he's going to be my captain this week. A bit of a pod as captain, I would have thought. Probably not so much a pod, like as in, it's just not going to be the mainstream captain. Josh Kelly's probably the more favoured captain this week. I've got Josh Kelly, but I'm going for Dusty for the ceiling, even though Josh Kelly's ceiling's pretty good too. But I'm hoping for GWS to spread the love around a little bit and get my Taranto, Canelio, Kelly trio firing. I'm hoping Whitfield has a bit of a stinker on debut and drops a lot of price, so I can go stack up to him at some stage towards the end of the year. That's probably the one that'll hurt me in trying to get to the top 1,000. If Whitfield plays a blinder and it doesn't impact his price that much, then I'm going to be shut out from him for the rest of the year pretty much, if I want to get Gorn back at some stage. Yeah, so that's my initial thoughts on the AFL Fantasy weekend. Looking forward to obviously the full name sides for Sunday. See if Hugh Goddard comes in. There was a few rookies named elsewhere as well. I think Brisbane will just play Matheson, so I can't see any action there. Yeah, so we'll just have to see. Obviously, GWFs have named Stein on their extended bench as well, so he's an option for defence as well. And it's good to see him hovering around the team as well. Like GWS are pretty well flying at the moment, and for him to still be on as an emergency is quite good in terms of Whitfield goes down again or something like that. He could be the first name to come back, so he'll be around the mark to come back in. So aiming for 2,400. I want to go up another couple of hundred spots this week. The Dogs are probably my biggest concern going into the weekend. They've got a tough game against Geelong. That game will decide my weekend, because I've got Tim Kelly, I've got Danger, I've got McRae, I've got Dunkley, I've got just about everyone in that game. Bontempelli as well. So they're all my... Well, they're my premiums, like not my biggest premiums, but to have 5 of them in the one match, it's gonna decide where my weekend goes. So hopefully the Dogs can put on a bit of a show in midfield, and Danger gets a lot of tackles or something like that. That would be ideal, and Kelly getting out the back. So hoping for a really good weekend to bounce back from my defenders. Don't want to lose too much coin there. Probably there's 2 big concerns for me in defence. I've sort of locked in premiums of Laird and Sicily. Obviously I don't want Laird to perform too well. They're playing against my team on the weekend in the showdown, so he can hover around the 80 mark. But Sicily, I really need some response from him. Everyone's going to be able to get on board with him once he starts performing now, because his price is so low. So I really need to, get at least a ton out of him before his price drops too much, so people get on him. I think that's about it for the fantasy preview for this week. Good luck to everyone. Hope everyone runs well, no injuries, all that type of stuff, and we'll go into next week and generate some cash to get some Uber premiums the following week, I reckon. Cool. So yeah, have a good day, lads. It's a beautiful day here in Adelaide, not a cloud in the sky, and birds are singing. It's quite fantastic. So, oh yeah, and apologies for the basic setup as well. I've got a 3-year-old at home and tried to record some videos this morning, and she just kept coming up and tugging on my shirt going, "Daddy, who are you talking to?" So, yeah, this is kind of, kind of the best recording I can kind of hope for at the moment in the car just before I go into work. Just until I can, sort of set aside myself 20 minutes a day to get on a recording and do something for you guys. So bear with us, quality will improve. Yeah, let's just hope for a good weekend fantasy wise. All right, guys, take it easy. Have a good one. Bye.